There's a lever at the 32-degree base of the spine. When that air or that fluid hits it and it slightly opens, then the brain receives a amount of oxygen that it had never previously experienced. And then that oxygen, almost like if you blow on something and then it receives a level of sensitivity because you blowing on it, it feels like it's alive. That's what happens with the brain. So now that's stimulating particular centers in our brain, our cranial nerves that have never been activated, and we automatically get that access to that cosmos. Now the crown is fully electrified, activated, you know, that particular cord that we have through the crown, that silver cording that we have to that higher intelligence. Now that's wiggling, and you're getting that shock treatment downloads.
Hemisync, basically, you got the CIA gateway tapes when they were studying psychic abilities. The CIA has always been interested in studying the ability to hack the human mind, right? And the limits or the limitless of the human brain. This goes back from inception of the CIA. It goes all the way to Alan Turing, the father of the modern AI or algorithm. They didn't recognize him because of his sexual lifestyle, but when he published these papers, basically modeling the ideas of algorithms and artificial intelligence. And a lot of these programs that the CIA started to run, where it was the MK Ultra, the MK Kitty programs, where they were studying how to control the human mind, whether it was through frequency, vibration. They had all of these programs that were known by the public in the 70s and 60s. LSD, that it was published in the newspaper that this is what they were doing. And eventually it was supposedly said, and now of course the movie Stranger Things was about that, the show rather. It was supposedly shut down, right? That they made some progress, but they shut it down because, you know, it was too controversial at the time. But anyway, during that time they had the Hemisync tapes, and what they were studying was how
all of these words are buzzing as more and more people are opening up to the power of energy and how it affects us. But does this stuff actually work? And if it does, how and why does it work? So often these terms are immediately linked to spirituality and higher universal power or source. However, you do not need to consider yourself spiritual in order to apply the theory of energy into your life. As science is getting more advanced and discovering new and exciting things every day, it is beginning to prove what ancient philosophers and thought leaders have been telling us for centuries. You know that feeling when you are around someone and their presence is just infectious? That is called personal energy. It's almost like it engulfs you with warmth, lightness, and love, making you immediately feel happier and recharged. On the other hand, when you're around someone and you just feel drained, exhausted, and like you need to shower off the heavy feeling that has taken you over, this is personal energy at its finest. Researchers at the Heart Math Institute in California study the heart and the amazing role it has in our overall mental wellness. They have discovered the heart sends out an electromagnetic field of almost 3 feet from your body. In other words, we all have our own unique energy bubble surrounding us at all times, which is controlled by our hearts. We are all just energy. The field of quantum physics is a branch of physics that studies matter and energy on an atomic and subatomic level, focusing on the tiniest particles that build the foundation for all life. Quantum physics has found everything in the universe is energy. Even humans. Science has shown when you break a cell down, they are simply made of atoms. When you break an atom down, they are simply made of protons, electrons, neutrons, and quarks. When you break electrons, protons, neutrons, and quarks down, they're simply vortices of energy. As Dr. Bruce Lipton, the pioneer in energetic biology, calls them, nanotornadoes of energy. In its simplest form, humans are made up of trillions of cells. Cells are made from energy. Therefore, we are all simply energy. When you hear about raising your vibrations or changing your frequency, people are referring to the vibrations your energy is giving off. Science has measured the energy a human emits at all times is 12 gigahertz. This means every one of us is vibrating and sending out different energy frequencies at all times. Guess what controls that energy and frequency we emit? Our heart and our brain. In other words, the emotions we feel and the thoughts we think. This is why you are hearing so much about the power our thoughts and emotions have on our lives. The more positive your emotions, the higher your energetic frequency. In David R. Hawkins' MD, PhD book, Power versus Force, he created a diagram of vibrational states based on emotions. To put this in context, think of a time you were experiencing a moment of pure joy, laughter, and love. You felt euphoric because your body was physically reacting by releasing different chemical energies of dopamine and oxytocin into your blood, thus changing your energetic vibrations. Now think of a time when you were feeling shame, guilt, fear, or anger. Your body was releasing cortisol or epinephrine into your bloodstream, which creates a different energetic vibration, one that feels heavier. Dr. Hawkins says most of the world's population vibrates at 200 or under. I think it's time we begin to change that. The power that thoughts have on our energy and vibrations. Looking at the chart, you can see the more positive emotions you encompass moment to moment, the more you will raise your vibrations. However, this is easier said than done, especially when neuroscience has shown that out of the 60 to 70,000 thoughts we have per day, 80 to 90% of those are the same thought we had the day before. No wonder we feel mentally exhausted at times. We are constantly playing our thoughts on repeat, day after day after day. Where understanding the importance of our thoughts come in. Because on top of thinking the same thoughts day in and day out, thousands of times, Dr. Joe Dispenza has concluded 95% of who we are by the time we are 35 years old is a set of memorized behaviors hanging out in our subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is the part of the mind that memorizes things like the ABCs, your childhood phone number, or the national anthem. This is why so many people find it difficult to make changes in their lives. Our whole belief system of who we are and who we are not is so ingrained into us. It is just a set of memorized behaviors and patterns that feel comfortable. The good news, by understanding you have the conscious choice to change these beliefs, you can begin to reprogram your beliefs and set intentions to align with your ideal life. 5 tips to raise your vibration and change your thoughts. 1. Start from the inside out. Invest in your emotional wellness and personal development. Dig deeper into your ingrained beliefs and thought patterns and begin to heal yourself from the inside out. Whether you start seeing a therapist, listening to helpful podcasts, watching daily motivation videos, or TED Talks, cut out 20 minutes of mindless scrolling for education. It is the best thing you can do for yourself. 2. Name it, feel it, let it go. Begin to be aware of your emotions and start embracing the notion that emotions are not bad. They just are. Allowing yourself to name your emotions, sit with them, feel them, and release them from your body will help you to raise your vibration. By numbing our emotions, not feeling them or ignoring them, we are keeping that energy in our bodies and constantly living in a heavier state. 3. Begin to recognize your repeated thought patterns. The first step in changing your thoughts is being aware of them. Simply noticing thoughts that you have regularly about yourself and your limiting beliefs allows you to stop the subconscious thought and begin to develop new patterns. 4. Be intentional with gratitude. I know you've heard this before, but one of the best ways to raise your energy is appreciating all you you have and saying thank you for the good things in your life. Even if it's something as simple as a part of your body that helps you to function each day, the clean air we have to breathe, the fresh water we have to drink. Be intentional about all you have to be grateful for.
When we're talking about crystal
5.
frequencies,
Figure out your definition of happiness. Take the time to really figure out what you want in life. What makes you happy?
You understand me?
We all have different definitions of happiness. What is yours? Give yourself permission to really answer this question of how you want your life to look over the next 5 to 10 years and write it out so you can begin attracting this into your life. I hope that if you were a little on the fence about embracing energy into your life, after understanding you can view it either from a spiritual point of view or a scientific point of view, or both, you will begin to embrace it and create significant change in your life. I can tell you that incorporating this into your self-development strategy will be a game changer.
Stay in that consciousness at all times.
Hold that frequency.
Otherwise, things will bring you down. You go from ding, to you start fiddling down. So one of those things was, of course, people do meditation, right? To try to maintain, and meditation is a form of being able to hemisync the brain from left and right hemisphere as well. People do prayers. Muslims pray 5 times a day to stay consistently synced in and tapped into that higher consciousness. And then it goes into your deeds and how you're consistently moving and doing good, and you're always vibrating high. You get to that point where you at the Messiah frequency, and once you are interlocked into that frequency, then you at that Christ consciousness to where you're always pouring from that higher level. Everything you do, every deed, the way you make people feel when they interact with your energy, your light, you tapped into that Christ energy. But that Christ energy is, Christ meaning crusher. So it also comes to change things. Like in the Bible, they talk about Jesus coming in and, flipping over the tables and giving people rules on how they're supposed to live, to tap in. He's basically saying that, look, if y'all want to be on God time, you want to have that mind of God, this is what you got to lock into. So once you get to a certain extent, and people may call it self-righteousness. When you see somebody particularly living a certain way of life, and then they want other people to join on and live that life as well, they are now judged by people who's not on that frequency. Now, the greater part of that is a person being able to live that life and not judge others, but still find a way to get everybody to want to be on that frequency through inspiration, through example setting. Now, when we talk about crystals form based on the vibration of the environment. While some crystals are going to come out perfectly formed and other ones weren't, based on, the shape and the frequency allowing them to grow outward. The pressure. Do crystals work? Why do people wear crystals? What's the practical value of crystals?
We are crystals. 1. Okay. 2, they say that the oldest kingdom here on this planet is the mineral kingdom. So if I want to pay homage to the Creator, I resonate with the things that was laid forth for me, that He said that I have dominion over. Once I come here, I have to become familiar with the things that He had already put in place, because His cosmic intelligence says that this predates me for a reason. I want to know why. His intelligence is in these particular stones. It has been uninterrupted, and based on millions of billions of years, it has been pressurized into available medicine, right? Cosmic medicine, where each one of these stones do different things. They mean different things, and they're part of an appreciating class. There's a rock market identical to a stock market. We are crystalline structures. We are composed of crystals. They call the blood the crystal lake. Our blood got crystals in it. Our ears got crystals in it. Our pineal got crystals in it. Our bones got crystals in it. Our eyes got crystals in it. Definitely all over our brain is crystals. And water itself is a crystal. So we are crystalline beings, living on a crystalline planet, traveling through a crystalline cosmos. And at essence, we're stardust. So we are composed of the same mineral structures: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. The 4th most abundant elements in the universe is what you find here, is what you find through entire galaxies. So once again, we are the things that existed before physicality. I'm non-linear, I'm non-physical, right? I'm composed of stardust, I'm composed of water, and I'm controlled by my mind. Everything's connected. In a nutshell, that's string theory. The proof through science that all things, all systems are connected, but also it speaks of the simulation. The fact that when you look down at a subatomic level, you can find what's called Indonesia symbols. And the Indonesia symbols have error correcting code in them, almost like a computer, meaning that everything's is yes and no's or O's and ones. So I have to come coded with the ability to say yes to you, and I have to come encoded with the ability to say no, because the power that I have is decision. That's what I'm endowed with that makes me this particular being that allegedly, supposedly is determining my reality and my outcome with free will, right? So you have the mechanisms built in to say if you say yes or you say no, because it's saying that it's not predetermined yet. It's trinary. It's not a predetermination that you're going to say A or B, but you still have retrofitted with the ability to say either or. So they found evidence of that particular code to say, oh, this shit is a simulation, right? The Indonesia symbol, when you go down one of them electron microscopes, it looks like a configuration called a tesseract. So a tesseract is how we interact and interface in this holographic reality / dimension. Let me explain. DNA, ATCG, Allah God the Creator, is dealing with those 4 base pairs. So now we're looking at the particular containment of a number code, right? Because you have 0 to 1, which is binary, and then 2 to 9, which is trinary. If you add up the numbers 2 to 9, like 2 plus 3, 3 plus 4, all of that, you're going to get 44, right? 0, 1 is the binary, but 2 and 9 is trinary. It's the remainder of the code. They're just utilizing 01 node to program this particular quote unquote, 3D dimensional reality that we exist in. But the tesseract, right? It's a cube within a cube. So it's a cube, which is 8 points and 6 sides within a cube. And these particular dimensions are interacting and interfacing, but almost never touching, interlocking. All of these points are connected, but it's never touching. It's always like the toroid field going in and out of itself. So when we get to DNA, and I say it's 4 base pairs, only 3 of those pairs are active though, right? So what does it create? You got 4, but only 3. So 4 is 8 and 3 is 6. So that's your cube. The emanation at the subatomic level of me, if I'm emanating what I'm expressing as a shape, as a figure, I'm gonna express a cube. And that particular cube is where we all, interface and interact in this particular holographic reality or holographic dimension, whether we wanna look at it like it's pixels. Everything is a box that we interact and interface with. From our apartments, everything in our apartment is box shaped. Everything in reality is box shaped. Books, paper, everything, right? Everything is constantly interfacing and interacting, reinforcing the fact that you are in a cubed box reality. But the only places that you don't find boxes or squares is in nature. No straight lines. So you won't find it at the ocean, you won't find it in nature, but everywhere civilization is at, everywhere where man has built, you'll find this particular quote unquote matrix reality. And it's very easy to control people when you have them in boxes, because boxes formulate 90-degree angles, and 90-degree angles produce what's called positive ions. And in science, positive ions is reversible, what we consider to be positivity. And the pocket and the coalescing of the energy takes place in these corners, and it attracts stagnation. It attracts, lint. And lint can contract dust parasites and things of that nature. Just the whole aspects of if cleanliness is next to godliness, then you're not gonna have an ideal, clean environment with 90-degree angles.
Places where like people have anger or high stress, somebody was just arguing, you have to clear out all of them ions that were just built up, where they say you can feel the tension in the air. It's literal.
Right, there's a dense pocket of that particular energy.
Emotions are a fluctuation of vibration. Like we going through the full spectrum of hot and cold energy. We're feeling the full vibration and the frequency, and sometimes we don't have control. And some of us are only in the anger, the low, the stress, the anxiety. And some of us don't rise above to where we're here at logic and reason. So imagine this though, above you, that you seeing your conscious self from above, and you're operating yourself from that space. The same way if you play a game and the viewpoint is like a
POV,
or you're looking at it directly, your point of view is directly as first person. But when you're looking from above, you can see the things on the side of you, can see things above you. You're not caught up in the emotion of the character. You're controlling your character. You're controlling yourself, your avatar. And I think about that with being in life. Like when you in your emotions, you feel trapped within yourself. When you're angry, you trying to get out, you throwing punches because you are being controlled by your own simulation at this point. So being able to live from that crown chakra, which is the sea house of intuition and reason and logic and rationality and mathematical intelligence, that's controlling yourself from here.
You got to get your mind clear so you can see things for what they are and not what your fear body's telling you that they might be, because you are operating on false narrative. So if you turn something just 1 degree, you've changed it. So even 440 hertz, if you change it to 441, you've changed